Hi, Weirdos. You are listening to and maybe watching Keep It Weird, a very special birthday celebration crazy episode of Keep It Weird, where your two ghost hosts with the most maybe had a little bit fun, as the Irish say. Got a little roasty toasty from some magical treats before recording. And for your viewing and listening pleasure, we hope you'll stick around, because we did a little bit of gardening, as the TikTokers say, but it only adds to the science and the fun that are coming your way. We are bringing you some mind-blowing facts and stories involving humans, animals, science, spookies, and everything in between. These stories will blow the minds of anyone, even if you're commuting to work with a totally normal morning brain on. We hope that you enjoy the ride for this unique and special birthday June blast. You might laugh, gasp, cheer, hopefully not roll your eyes as we tell these unbelievably strange but true tales. Happy birthday to me and to Ashley, because it was back in March, but it's everybody's birthday today. Mm-hmm. And cheers to the freaking weekend, even though it's Tuesday. My name is Lauren, and this is my lovely co-host, Ashley.
Hi, Weirdos. What was that longer than usual?
I don't know. I was like, why do I have so many more sentences? But I think it's because I kept taking little tangents to let the audience know that I was still with them. It's like, I hope you'll stick around. I just kept throwing those in. Like, join us. I hope
join us at the circus. How was your birthday? How old are you now?
I am 1 year younger than you at 35. It sounded like you were like my great aunt. How old are you? Anyway, 35. Birthday was good and very chill, and basically like we had some friends over, but they were all friends with kids, so it felt like it was Wilder's birthday more than mine, but that's
that's life.
That's the seasonal
life.
That's
motherhood, baby.
That's mama's.
Not for me. My birthday's all about me.
That's right.
Forever.
36, 35.
36. Although I
so
literally
wise.
told someone last year that I was 36. And I came home and like
fully realized that you were.
No, it like went along with a story. Like it went along with a separate piece that I've long forgotten. But I was like, I was like telling Joe the story, and I was like, and she asked how old I was, and I was like 36, and I like kept going, and he was like, "You're not 36," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "You're not 36."
What are you talking about?
I was like, "Yeah, I am. In what world am I not 36?"
In this world, honey.
I was 35. So
man, you were just aging yourself. Like, don't skip ahead. Enjoy the time. Soak it in.
I don't remember hours of my day, days of my week.
Me either.
Months of my year. I just feel like
I think
it's
the
all
brain
a blur.
Is going.
The brain also might be going. There's so much plastic in our. What are you drinking? Are you drinking anything?
Yeah, I was just gonna do water, but then I found
it's a party. It's a birthday party.
But then I found this canned pineapple margarita.
Oh.
So poured myself a little bit of that in my kid's cup. What are you sipping on?
So I'm sipping on Kettle One Botanicals Orange Blossom and Peach Vodka with grapefruit juice. It is the most tart, delicious thing, but every time I take a drink, it like zaps me back. I thought that was a good plan for today's episode. It's like if I'm getting off track, I'll just take a drink of my grapefruit juice and be like, "Hey, you're on Earth. You're recording.
We're here.
You're doing your job."
I'm quickly gonna text Alex because I'm getting low and I want him to bring a refill. I'm gonna see if there's any left. Could you bring me a can?
This is really good television.
5 minutes of me like,
oh, I got a new phone.
Oh, that's right, because all of our
Look
texts
at
were
how
deleted.
cute this pop socket is.
Look at that eyeball. Is that your
They
third
had
eye?
it. Yeah, they had it at the AT&T store. Like, I didn't do anything special.
Okay, AT&T.
I know, I went in for my upgrade and I saw this like across the room. There's only one of them. Maybe a witch put it there. I don't really know, but there was one of them and I saw it from across the room and I was like, eyeball.
I feel like somebody eyeball. Somebody definitely was leaving that very intentionally for you. The fact that it was the only one in the store and like, since when
Since
is
fucking
AT&T witchy weirdo
Stocked.
third eye stocked? Yeah, when do they have anything that I need?
When do they have employees working there? Every time I've been to an
Truth.
AT&T store, I walk in and there's someone really stressed out that's like, I'm the only one here.
Okay,
like,
well, that's
"Baby,
how it
it's
is at
okay."
Verizon too. So I guess that's just cell phones because it is always one woman with an iPad. Like, were you next in line?
That's corporate America, folks. That's corporate
Fuck
America for you. I got some
that.
behind the scenes. I got some dirt. I'm a whistleblower right now. When I worked
Ooh.
at Barnes and Noble, Billy can vouch for me. Mel can
Yeah,
vouch
Billy.
for me. Dakota can vouch
Barnes
for me.
and Noble, stand up.
Dev can vouch.
Stand up, Barnes and Noble, stand up. There should be a little fan club Facebook group. Anyway.
Throw your hand. Anyway, so when I worked at Barnes & Noble, they would cut staff and cut staff and cut staff down to the point where, like, I would literally work. They would have me on for, like, 4-hour shifts. I was there from 8 a.m. to noon.
Mm-hmm.
I was the head of the gift department, as in no one else who worked at that store was in charge of the gift department except for me. And I worked 12 hours a week.
Who was trusting you with that?
Cover.
I'm just kidding.
I would have to cover two different people's half-hour breaks and take a 15-minute break in my 4 hours that I was there. So like an hour and a half of my day was not even in my department or on the floor. And I was the only bookseller on the floor. And that's how bad it was. People would come in and be like, no one is here. And I'm like, I know. And they're like, did they call in sick? And I'm like, no one even called in sick. I'm the only one here.
It's just
Barnes
us.
& Noble is an evil corporation that can't afford to pay its employees. I hate to think what they're like now.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking
Yeah.
12
Are there
years
only
later.
like 4 stores left too? I feel like, have they all closed? Or no, that was Borders.
No.
Or did Barnes and Noble close too?
No, we have a Barnes and Noble here in Champaign.
Oh.
In Champaign.
Champagne.
Golly gosh. Anyways, guys, we wish we could go back in time and fix whatever broke on our timeline to where we don't have Barnes and Nobles or video rental stores anymore, but we can't. So
here we are.
We're gonna blow your minds today because today is all about mind-blowing facts, stories, history, trivia, whatever. You go first. I want you to go first. Surprise me.
Okay. I'm like, I feel like I have some quick ones, and then I have like a couple that might take longer, but I kind of just want to jump into something fun. If you were forced, I hate the term gun to your head, but it's like the only thing that's coming up. Gun to your head, or just like excessive physical force and aggression coming from somebody interrogating you. If they said,
if I was getting waterboarded,
if you were being tortured somewhere, and they were like, tell us what the word nerdle means, and you were forced to come up with a definition, what would you say the definition of the word nerdle is?
Nerdle. I was gonna say use it in a sentence, but you can't do that. I'm trying to think of the definition, not spell it.
Isn't the spelling bee?
Is it an E or a U? Is it nerdle or nerdle?
Nerdle.
E?
Yeah.
Nerdling is the process.
Wait, no! Some people were spelling it E-U-R-D-L-E, but it actually is mostly spelled N-U-R-D-L-E. I was seeing the E, and that's
You
all
threw
my
me
brain
off. That's a
wanted
whole
to say to you.
different
I know.
story.
So ignore what I said before. I would say, to keep it easy, think of N-U-R-D-L-E.
Nurdle. A nurdle is a a flock of frogs.
That would be really
Nurdle
good.
of frogs, like a murder of crows, a nurdle of frogs.
No, that would actually be so much better for this term. This is so silly and dumb, but this is just a quick fun fact to get us started. Nurdle is what we call the tiny little dab of toothpaste that goes on your toothbrush. That's the term that nurdle means. And we know this because a term had to be coined for a trial that was between Colgate and GlaxoSmithKline, who makes Aquafresh, back in 2010, because Colgate wanted a court order allowing it to use toothpaste packaging that has the words triple action, like next to a nurdle of blue and white. And they had to get permission from Aquafresh because they came up with the nurdle themselves, and nobody else could do the shape. Oh, I'm being given a cocktail. No one else was allowed to do the shape, but Colgate was like, but that is the shape of toothpaste.
That's the shape.
That's literally it. What do you want from us? But so they had to seek court order because Aquafresh is sitting there like, no, it's only us. So anyway, there was a whole 2010 trial over a blob of toothpaste, and people were uncomfortable saying blob, so they were like, nurdle, and that became the term.
Oh, that's better.
And eventually the two companies ended up settling out of court in late 2011, and everything was totally fine. But they had to go to court and fight over this, and people had to say nurdle in a professional setting.
Stop.
And I just couldn't believe
it. Are you like me? We're the same person, so I know you're like this. Do you use a tube of toothpaste like you are living through the Great Depression and you can't possibly afford a new tube of toothpaste until this one has been sliced open and unraveled?
Yes, this is a perfect example. This is my moisturizer. It's not toothpaste, but the same goes for my moisturizer. I have
we
other
make
things.
Money.
It's so thin. And
we don't make a lot of money, but we make.
Do you do this?
We make dollars.
Do you do this?
Yes.
Like with the toothpaste, you first fold it and then you do the rip open, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, just take $4 and go down to the grocer and get yourself some new toothpaste. You peasant.
I know, because you're not going to get any good nurdles if you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. You're just going to get
sometimes you just get the sparkles from the toothpaste.
The tiny sparkles from that glitter. Blue and white nurdle that Colgate really had to fight for.
All right, it's time for a bit of biology. Okay, so recently someone broke down how stars are made for me. I was a little child who knew nothing about the world, and it was like a religious experience. So I'm going to attempt to teach you guys in the same way. And if this is totally common knowledge and I'm just the last person to find out, I'm so sorry. I did not have the best education.
I don't think I know, so I can't wait to learn.
So, what is in outer space? What is it out there? It's just this big vast vacuum. We know that there's stars and there's planets around those stars and a whole bunch of space.
And stars are balls of gas burning millions of miles away, like Pumbaa taught us.
Sort of.
All right.
They're more than gas, though. Oh my God, they're amazing. Aww. You're going to lose your mind.
I love this.
Floating around in between all those stars and planets is a large amount of gas and dust. Just dust. And those regions of gas and dust are called molecular clouds because they're made up of dust, but it's atoms and molecules and dust.
All mixed
And
in
atoms
with
and molecules, they're the building blocks of everything. They're the building blocks of me and you and my drink and my mic and my hair. They're everything. So these huge clouds, and when I say huge, I mean like they can literally be 1,000 to 10 million times the mass of the sun.
Oh my God.
In space. Space is so big. It's so big.
It's so big.
It stresses me out.
When I really think about it, I get so stressed and so anxious, and I don't understand how I exist. Yep, it's just too big.
Some things are too big. And
sometimes that's just true.
Sometimes that's life. These clouds are also really cold, which causes all that stuff to clump together and stay together in those clouds.
Okay.
The clouds are cold, they clump together, and as they clump together, they begin to collect more matter. And as they collect more matter, their gravitational force grows, meaning that these molecular dust clouds can start pulling in more matter from the space around it.
Whoa.
And as all that stuff's getting pulled together into this big cloud, the friction starts heating things up. And the heat and the pressure of all this matter squeezing together is creating a core. Ooh. And that's known as a prestellar core.
Prestellar core.
Okay. Over the next 50,000 years, that core squeezes together so tight. And I know that sounds like a really long time, but like in the reality of time, it's like really, really fast.
Nothing. Just a little blip.
Just like nothing. Like it's nothing. So 50,000 years, the core contracts, becomes smaller and smaller. Years. But it's becoming smaller and smaller, and the same amount of stuff is inside it. So stuff starts shooting out of it. As it's shooting out, it starts to make it spin. So as it starts spinning, so picture, the way he said it was picture a ballerina spinning, and you know how their skirts go out like in a flat disc around them? So that starts to happen, and this flat disc starts to form around this core with all this stuff spraying out. And then it's a protostar. Then the disc surrounding the core, which is mostly gas, rotates with the disc and is constantly being pulled into the surface. And over the course of 1,000 years, the star is going to grow in enough size and density for the center of it to basically start a nuclear reaction on its own.
Oh my
And then it glows like our sun does, like endless glow. Right. Well, not endless.
Which
everything
makes
dies.
It bright and shiny like a
Sorry, kids. Everything dies. And you're going to have to learn that one day.
Sorry about it.
But fairies are real. So
we believe in the fae.
We believe in the fae. The star starts to shine like the sun. And at that point, the disc surrounding it doesn't really serve its purpose anymore. So now it's just a circular moving plane of material, which slowly starts to clump together and orbit the star.
My gosh.
They are the planets.
Wait, and the star has little planets going around it from this matter?
Every single star creates the planets that surround its orbit. So
what?
Our sun is actually our sky daddy. We were part of that debris that got shot out, and we clumped together. And every single star that's created, the universe is literally just creating itself all the time.
Just like exploding into all these little dust bunny starlights.
These stars create themselves, and then they form all of the planets surrounding it. And it's almost like they're trying to get the right measurements for life to maybe start on one of these things.
To be a viable place.
To have a viable place.
For the living. Oh my gosh, so we're just part of an experiment? And they found out our sky daddy. Oh, Mr. Sun.
What are you talking about? This isn't a conspiracy. This is biology.
I meant an experiment for Mr. Sun to see.
Yeah, well, maybe. I like to think that I wouldn't
Sky
call
Daddy
like
had to figure it out.
I wouldn't call Wilder an experiment.
Oh, because we were birthed.
We are his children. He birthed us.
We are all Mr. Sun's children.
That could be our cult.
Birthed. Mr. Sun's children.
Mr. Sun's children.
And
So
Mr.
anyways,
Sun.
it's just a matter of like all that stuff clumping together, getting the right amount of distance away from that star, that creature that just created itself, and being able to grow life, because every like all the atoms, all the molecules, all the chemical, like everything that's on this planet was made in the sun.
Wow.
Except plastic. We did that to ourselves.
Man-made hell.
Just kidding. Just kidding. So eventually, just like everything on our planet and seemingly everything in the universe that we can witness, the core of the star will run out and the hydrogen will convert to helium and the core will collapse and the star will die. And then, just like when the creatures on the earth die and our bodies go on to create life for others, the material that floats out into the cosmos will enrich the future molecule clouds, and a new star will be born. So we never die. Nothing ever dies.
On and on and on. Even the forever planets. And ever. The planets are still going. This is really beautiful. And
It's
I'm
so
really
beautiful.
happy to be floating around good old Sky Daddy, Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. I am honored to be a child of the sun.
Me too. That is our cult, the children of the sun. It has to be. That sounds familiar. Someone has already been the children of the sun.
But if not, we're claiming it. And
TM, children of the sun.
TM. Nobody take it.
And if you think about it, so you know how
really
like
beautiful.
The sun is masculine and the moon is feminine?
Mm-hmm.
So the moon is kind of like our mother, because our moon was created when an asteroid blasted into our planet and debris fell off our planet and gathered with a bunch of gas and created a moon.
Okay. Doesn't that mean we're its mother?
Well, the thing is the moon is what creates our tides. And I don't know if we would have biological life on this earth if it wasn't for tides. So I think the moon had to have been created before life here. I don't know.
I feel like you're right.
I'm not a scientist.
No, I feel like you're right.
I'm just a girl.
Mother Moon and Father Sun. I'm just thinking of all the cult songs that we can sing around the campfire with our ukuleles.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm pretty sure I was playing a banjo there, and I'm so sorry. I don't know. Do you have a bit of biology for us? You said you had an animal story. That's biology.
I do. I have a couple. I know. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of the right thing to read. You know what? This one makes me giggle, and it feels like I want to come back for a giggle.
Okay.
Giddy up! What animal would you be saying that to usually,
horse.
Ashley? A horse, of course.
A horse, of course.
But in this case, I'm saying giddy up to a crocodile.
Okay.
What? Excuse?
Why? Why would you? What? Why?
Listen up. Veterinary scientists have discovered just as recently as 2020, when this study came out, that some species of crocodiles are very agile on land, not just like little waddling or fast leg going outside to side. They can gallop. Giddy up, galloping crocodiles. It has been found. They can gallop. Why? I don't know. It sounds horrible, but also hilarious to imagine a crocodile galloping.
In a video.
I know.
It's not funny if it's running at you. Right at you.
I know. I only want to watch it at YouTube. I don't know. Part of me, no, you're right. I don't want it to be anywhere near me. I was like, part of me would like to witness it going after like a bird or something. I don't want to see. I don't want to be anywhere near it.
It's not going to go after that bird. It's going to go after you and your neon hat. It's going to see you from a mile away.
It is. It's going to know. So, An evolutionary biomechanics professor at Royal Veterinary College in London, John Hutchison, said, "We discovered this behavior in several species of crocodiles that were never known to do it before. We just couldn't stop looking. They were going airborne," which he says is pretty cool. Their hind limbs launch them off the ground, then they go airborne and land on their front legs, and their backbone bends up and down as they do that. A little crocodile just galloping along. And
sounded like Ichabod Crane's coming to town.
Really did.
Ichabod Crane.
Ichabod. Oh, those were some good froggy croaks. Hutchison was the lead researcher on the study, which documented galloping in 5 different species of crocodiles, and then the findings were published in 2020 in the Journal of Scientific Reports. So it was official. They had studied these crocodiles in the wild and discovered that 5 different species of crocodile can do the gallop. And then on top of that, they started looking back into old... It added it. Oh,
okay,
Ichabod Crane, hustle.
T.
What?
They're evolving to do this?
No. So there were, then they discovered, they thought so. But then, hold on, Sabru.
I was like, why? What are they planning?
Exactly. What are they plotting? No, scientists thought that at first, which was why they were like, we got to get this study going and we have to let the people know, because they were like, what are they about to do next? But during this study, yes, they thought they were finding this groundbreaking, brand new information. But after further study and looking back into history books and biology, all kinds of science books from back in the day, they were realizing that there was another species of crocodile that used to gallop. Never alligators and never caimans. Is that the other one that's
caimans.
Like an alligator?
Yeah.
Caimans.
Which seem like they should be able to run or gallop.
That's
because
what I'm
they're
thinking. Because I thought
teensies.
crocodiles were, but even alligators I thought were known to be like slightly less wide
bulky
than crocodiles. Yeah, like I just feel like there's so much girth on a croc, but maybe
It's
they
a
also
lot.
have more strength in their legs. I don't know. But they are the ones who are able to gallop. Alligators and caimans have never been able to, only crocs. But then we didn't observe it for so long, and now it's starting to come back. So I don't even know. But
that's stressful.
the long-standing idea is that this is actually an ancient way of moving. Like, it actually makes more sense that crocodiles used to do this, that the extinct ancestors of crocodiles like most likely moved in similar ways just because of the shape of their body. So like, it's not that crazy to think that ones back in the day did and that they would evolve out of it. But
Right.
It is for some reason seeing a resurfacing. And so that is what has everyone perplexed. But it has happened before. And I like hearing that the ancestors of crocodiles most likely looked like half cat, half semi-aquatic creatures.
What
Isn't
are
that
you
fun?
saying to me right now?
Cat crockies save
Cat
the day.
crockies. Lift it up, lick it and shake it. Lick it again. Do you remember the Baby Bottle Pop song?
Baby
What is
bottle
it?
pop, baby bottle pop. Just lick the top.
Dip it and shake
No.
it. Dip it and
Yeah.
shake it. And lick
Dip
it
it and
again. The early aughts, the late 90s and the early aughts were wild. And if you weren't there to witness it, like, I'm sorry. I do feel bad for you. It was fucking extreme.
It was
extreme.
so extreme. Baby bottle pop commercial.
Baby bottle pop.
Baby. And then the end he'd go, baby bottle pop, the candy pop you lick and dip.
Everyone
I'll
had
never
on like
forget.
elbow pads because they were all skating. Like, everyone was having a
Skating
good time. We
while
used to be
having the baby bottle
outside,
pop.
everybody. What happened?
Kickball in the cul-de-sac.
It got too
Yeah, do you
hot.
think it's just getting too toasty?
It's too
Global
fucking hot
warming
out
is
there.
like, it's too warm.
I'm
I
not
can't
doing
do it.
that. I can't do that. Not without like sprinklers or...
No.
I can't do that unless I'm going to be sober. And that's not happening.
Like, that's not, it's just not very likely.
That's not where I'm at in my life right now.
It's not where we're at. And I want to wrap up cat crockies after all that. That is probably what the ancestors looked like, and they were very long-legged. They had long, skinny legs. It was more cat-like. They could do kind of cat-like stretches, which sounds terrifying. And then I remember the dinosaurs were real, and everything is upsetting to me. However, I do feel like imagining a shape of longer, skinny legs, I can imagine a bit more of a gallop, not from old Boris hobbling down the way to go into the water. I cannot imagine how they are able to gallop. So that is what is really wild to me. But Hutchison and his team was able to test which species of crocodile still possess this ability, as we talked about earlier. So they were, just trying to research all that they could. They would be able to capture crocodiles, bring them into their lab, release them at one end, and encourage them to move to the other end. But they had to get by some obstacles like cameras, because they were also taking pictures and videoing, these experiments. So they had some cameras set up, but also some...
Sounds like an episode of Traders.
It totally is like an episode of Traders.
As much art that you can steal without setting off the alarm system. That's how much money you win at the end. And Brandy's going to show all of y'all.
Show you all.
Because Bravo's here to stay. Oh, go on.
Bravo's here to stay, baby. Bravo is here to stay. Just watch out to anyone who goes on Traders.
I have to tell you
Bravo's gonna say
what I did yesterday. You probably saw it in our email. We have a segment on the Losers Club. It's a Patreon special called Oops, All Tangents. It's where we start on a topic, we set a timer for an hour, and we go for an hour. Wherever our conversation leads us, that's what the episode is.
Let it take you.
And
I like that.
4 of us got together last night and recorded a Vanderpump Rules episode.
Oh my gosh, did all your dreams come true?
Yeah, it was like my 2 worlds colliding. And we all gushed about it because all 4 of us, me, Randall, Rachel, and Jen, are super obsessed, seen every episode, totally caught up. We got to talk about like the entire arcs of the characters. We got to talk about the valley, what's going to happen next. We got to talk about the drama. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh,
wish you were there.
That is so fun. I know, like I would have done anything to be on that panel. Yeah, to just see your worlds collide and to download with your Losers Club people about Vanderpump and Lala and the Valley and what's going to happen to Jax and Brittany. Like, what? What a time. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Tangents are important. That's very smart.
They are. And okay, speaking of, not a tangent.
Another one.
But have you ever fallen down the rabbit hole? I fell down a rabbit hole. Like, legitimately, one piece of mind-blowing information led me to another piece of mind-blowing information, led me to another piece of mind-blowing information. And I was like, at work,
rabbit hole.
I was supposed to be not doing this, not reading these facts that were blowing my brain out of my ears. So my mind kept getting blown over and over. The rabbit hole starts at blimps and ends at sharks. Dude,
how though? I can't wait
to take a guess at how I got sharks from blimps.
I don't even want to take a guess. I've never been so excited to just hear your words. I want you to lead me down this rabbit hole. Let's go.
Here was the process. The first thing I learned was there are only 25 blimps in the world.
There's only 25 in the entire world?
There's 25 on planet Earth. So...
What? Nobody's into blimps? I'm just like, and is there only one Goodyear blimp or are there multiples?
Couldn't answer that. And I read all about them. Damn, I read all about the Goodyear blimp and I couldn't tell you if there was one or more.
I read an entire 300-page book on the Goodyear blimp and I can't tell you anything about it.
You know how much I love my research. I over-research every topic. It's annoying. So
I really do. It's great.
There are 25 blimps on planet Earth, which the first thing that popped in my head when I heard that was like, the next time someone claims a UFO sighting might have been a blimp, you can point at them and laugh directly in their face, because fat fucking chance it was a blimp. There's 25. There's more likely it's a UFO than a blimp.
I can't wait to throw it in someone's face and be like, you think you just saw a fucking blimp? There's only 25.
There's more UFO sightings per night
than
on
blimps.
the Earth than there are blimps on the planet.
Damn, I did not know it was so rare to be in the blimp world, the blimp life. This is so enlightening.
Yeah, that's just step one. Then I learned that, and this word stuck out at me, and you'll know why. Blimps stay in the air due to buoyancy.
Buoyancy.
Like the fish.
You're
like
right.
the mummy
Oh my
fish.
gosh.
The fish mermaid mummy.
Yes! We were talking about that buoyant little mummy fish guy. Yep.
Same thing. Like, blimps use lighter than air gas, usually helium, so that the overall weight of the blimp is actually lower than the buoyant force generated by the surrounding air. So it's floating
just
on
floating
air.
along. Good old blimpy.
But that's also why they have a really strict weight limit. Because, like, I read, like...
Yeah, isn't it only like 2 people can be on it?
Yeah, it's like very few. I don't even know. Did I write it down? It was like 900 pounds or something. I don't know. It was something crazy where it was like it couldn't exceed that. And like a couple of years ago, Goodyear came under some hot heat because they like refused a guest entry because they exceeded the weight limit. But like, fella, what do you want? Like, do you want to?
What do you
I don't
want to
even
do?
know.
You'd
Would it
plummet
crash
from
to
the
ground?
sky
Would
and
it
die
even,
is what I predict.
Rise?
I don't know.
I don't know how they work, but
yeah,
what do you
it
want
just
from them?
sounds bad. Like, don't go against the
I wouldn't
blimp's
want
rules.
to. If they were like, you exceed the weight limit, I'd be like, bye. Thank you so much for the opportunity to
then I'm
drive
out of here. I really had a nice drive. I'm fine. No, I'm not going to question anything that goes up into the sky. If something that goes into the sky has rules, I will follow every rule. I will not falter. I will not fall out of the sky. Oh, can't. Rude.
I will not hide my light under this bushel.
Oh.
So
I have to know what's next.
Well, then I was like, oh, blimps run on helium. And I knew that helium is a finite source, which means when we're out of helium, we don't make more helium. Helium is a natural resource. When it's gone, it's gone. And we're running out of it.
No. We ruin everything.
It's bad. So it's so rare on Earth, we didn't even discover it on Earth. A French researcher discovered its existence by studying the sun. And it's kind of impossible to calculate, but it's believed by most experts that the planet's helium supply is running out. We can't make more of it. We could potentially look for it in the atmosphere, but it would essentially up our helium prices by like 10,000 times. And that doesn't just mean balloons. No more blimps, no more birthday balloons. Helium is used in MRI testing, LCD screens, cryogenics, superconductivity, laser pointers, supersonic wind tunnels, CPR pumps, welding, rockets. Like, we use it for a lot of stuff. It's not just what are we going to do without it? Like, quit sucking the helium. We don't have that much of it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, I am never putting helium into a balloon at a birthday party anymore. Save the helium.
I mean, here's the thing. You don't have to worry about it. We have between 10 and wait, no, hold on. We probably have like 200 years worth of helium left on Earth.
Damn.
We'll be dead.
I know, at least we'll be gone, but I feel bad for...
And I hope whoever's listening to this, if somehow our voices still remain on this Earth after we are gone, or float into space.
Now we are just the matters of dust floating around in the galaxy.
Creating a new star.
A new star.
That's bad. Mm-hmm. Not great.
Yeah,
we're losing helium.
Love it.
So then I thought, this was a thought that, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that's not a thought. That's an insane person thought. What if we could get helium from another planet? Oops. What? With what? Like a hose? What am I thinking?
How do we get it?
How would we do that? But
What
in my I was just
tools?
like, what if we could
But
get it
what
from
if
another
we-
planet? I just want to see if, like, helium was more abundant on other planets, and I was right. It is.
It is. So now we just have to invent something to get it. Okay.
On Jupiter and Saturn,
Ooh.
they both have a ton of helium in their atmosphere, so much so that
Love
it
that.
rains helium occasionally.
We love that. We love that for Jupiter. It rains helium, so it's coming down like wet rain,
Like,
as I
well,
know rain. But it's helium? What does that
I'm
feel
just a
like?
girl.
What is that world?
So anyways, Saturn. We're at Saturn now from Blimp. So now I'm on Saturn. You're there with me. We don't know. We don't know exactly when the rings of Saturn formed, but we think it's somewhere between 10 and 100 million years ago, which makes Saturn's rings, the rings that are around Saturn, are younger than sharks.
Whoa! Sharks and then the rings formed? That feels backwards. That can't be right.
You know what else sharks are older than?
Ugh. What?
Trees.
Wait, really?
They existed before we had trees.
See, okay, that makes me hate sharks even more than I already did because I don't like thinking of them as prehistoric and I don't like thinking of them as dinos of
They're the perfect
sea.
machine. They're the perfect machine.
Butthole
They're the
lips
perfect
for the...
living machine.
Don't ever say perfect in front of
can't
shark.
kill them.
It's what is going to murder me one day in my life, and I'm just not here for it. I mean, the ocean is going to take me down as a whole, but I think a shark's going to be involved. So, okay.
He planned it.
Planned it. Sharks are old as fuck. I cannot believe it.
Trees didn't show up until around 390 million years ago. And for like 30 million years, they were pretty small because the CO2 levels, along with like the average temperature, were way too high. It was too hot for the leaves to get big enough. But as more and more plants grew, they started gobbling up all that CO2 in the atmosphere, and the trees started to grow taller and taller and taller. And sharks are also older than the Atlantic Ocean and the North Star.
What?
Technically, it should have went blimps to the North Star because I ended on the North Star. Either way, that was my rabbit hole, and
Blimps,
it was a
sharks,
really
North
exciting
Star.
like 20 minutes at work.
That is really exciting. Like how I can't believe you got from blimps down to that. I feel like we went on a very crazy journey, but
Now you know
wow.
so much.
I guess sharks do look old as fuck. Like they do have that prehistoric look to them. Like the eyes that are just like buried into whatever they're made out of. It looks like a chalkboard from my youth. I can't tell.
Well, they don't have bones.
Are they slippery?
Yes.
Like a little dolphin, like Flipper? They might be
Yes,
slippery.
like a fish.
Because to me, they
Yeah.
look like chalk dust. I think sharks look like they are made out of like a chalkboard.
No, they're slippery like a dolphin or a porpoise or a whale or a fish or most.
But why do they look chalky? I don't
Mm,
know, because they're old.
I think it's just the slate of gray. Yeah, and they're all, you know, a lot of them have a lot of battle scars because they're all like 600 fucking years old.
Gross. I don't like knowing how
Yeah.
old they are. I really hate it.
I'm
And we
so
got
sorry.
there by blimps, which I was trying to be a Goodyear blimp stan. I also do not understand.
I was trying to be a friend and follow
Blimps.
your segment.
Oh, learn more
Oh,
about
I have
you.
one thing real quick before, and then I'm going to pass it off to you. Can you snap? What makes the snap sound?
The friction of our fingers.
The snap is when your middle finger hits your palm.
That's dumb, Ashley. You're a liar. So it's not the fingers at all?
No, it's just our finger hitting the pad.
Which, it's like, it's so hard to do that otherwise. So that does mean that, like, the speed in which those fingers are going is what we are catapulting.
Fast.
We're catapulting our finger into our hand.
Into our hand.
Catapult!
Did that not just blow?
That is so wild. Oh, I hit my shirt, so that was a muffled catapult.
Well, that's probably going to be really annoying to listen to, but doesn't that fucking just bust your gourd right open?
Yes. I will never be the same. I'm never going to look at my fingers or hand the same. I can't wait to tell everybody and just be a creep. Do you want to hear about crickets? Might as well. When you open your window on a summer night and you hear all the crickets making their sounds,
beautiful.
You're falling asleep and you're like, yes, crickets, play your song. So that symphony, if you're paying close enough attention and you're a crazy person who I guess really likes science and nature, if you listen to the amount of chirps that a cricket does, you can tell what the temperature is outside. And it used to be a way for people to tell what the temperature was just based on a cricket's chirp.
We used to be so much better.
Oh, it's just a 14 cricket legs.
What's it like outside? And it's like, I'll get on my weather app and it's going to be wrong. And then when I get outside, I'm going to complain that it says it's 78, but it feels like it's 84.
84.
And we used to be like, the crickets say, wear a jacket.
Crickets say it's April 25th. It's not too hot and it's not too cold. All you need is a light jacket. Also, moments ago, I tried to do a example of making fun of myself listening to the crickets, and I accidentally told time instead of the temperature. It's like it's 1/4 a cricket's leg. That's not what this is about. It's about the temperature. I can't breathe. So stupid. Oh, it's 1/4 a cricket's leg. It has nothing to do with anything. Oh, so crickets move slower in cooler temperatures, similar to a lizard who will sun themselves on a rock because they feel that shade and it cools their body way too much, or like a sluggish bumblebee who on a cool spring morning is just looking for that sunshine on top of a flower.
Wait,
anyway, so crickets, just like other creatures of the sky and ground and flower, are really sensitive to the temperatures outside. So
sure,
the crickets will react as soon as they get warm and they start to rub their legs and wings together faster. So the warmer it gets, the faster they're going. And that's why on summer nights, it's like, and you hear that symphony in their yard, except it sounds nothing like what I just did. It sounds very nice.
It does.
I can't even do it.
You have to
I'm
stop.
done. Anyway, you'll hear that sound because of the warm weather. And we don't hear them as much in the winter because they're freezing looking for their coat. But people use to count the amount of chirps per 15 seconds. And then some crazy person figured out that if you count the number of chirps per 15 seconds and then add 40, that will give you the temperature in Fahrenheit. And somebody Oh, he has a name. Wild. Amos Dolbear in 1897.
Somebody.
I knew the theory was called Dolbear's Law, but it never occurred to me that that's the name of a person. Amos Dolbear in 1897 published his findings on the cricket and their 15 seconds of chirps plus 40. And for the most part, obviously it's not always perfect. Other people have tried this and it does somewhat work. I don't know how it all comes together, but Dolbear's Law is the way into this. It's not a perfect system, but it's like a fun little system. That's none of my business.
None of my business. That's why I'm going to start saying that to people if they're telling me something that like I don't need to know about, or like I don't want to know about, or I'm like so bored by. I'll be like, you know what? It's none of my business.
Just walk away. Just let me get out of here.
I actually have to go.
Thermometer cricket. Good times. Thanks, Dolbear.
I let on to Joe that I think it's annoying that people still try to teach me military time. And he's like, how do you not know military time? It's so easy. You just add 12 or subtract 12. And I'm like, from what?
That's the thing. It is not fair to just say add or subtract 12. It's like from where, from what, where am I? Which do I have to be high or low? Is it during the dark or the light?
And how do you put minutes in that? I'm furious.
No. Military time is rude.
He was like, just let me teach you. It's so easy. And I was like, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. It's the same with converting Fahrenheit to Celsius while we're speaking of the crickets and their temperature.
I don't want to know how to learn it. Do military time.
I don't want military time. I don't want to figure out how to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Like, somebody just tell me or I'm gonna Google it. I'm just over it.
I've got a quick one. I'm gonna show you a picture and you just tell me like what it is. You don't have to tell me where it is. Just tell me like what it is.
I mean, you're a little blurry, but it's either a factory or a city skyline. That's the blurry part. I can't tell.
Okay. It's a city, right?
So it is a city. I was right. Skyline? Okay, because it just looks like phallic symbols.
What would you say if I told you that this city is an Italian city from 1200 AD?
No way.
They had skyscrapers.
They wouldn't have had that? How'd they get that? Oh my gosh, are these like the ancient...
They were as far as we know, the world's first skyscrapers. It's known as the Manhattan of the Middle Ages.
That is just a wild thing to say.
There once were 180 or more of them.
Wow.
So a city, like a Manhattan skyline.
An actual city skyline.
In 1200 AD.
They had access to some things.
What's happening? They were built for defense purposes, but after that, they were kind of a status symbol. Like, they just kept building more and more, and it just sort of like, I mean, think about what a sight to see that would be. That would be like, I mean, I'm walking into Blade Runner. I'm walking into the future of planet Earth. Like, how did they have buildings?
How did they have that?
20 of them still stand today. That's what these are pictures.
Ooh, how exciting.
This one is just like a rendering, like an imagining of what all 180 would look like when they were standing. But today, you can still go. And you can even go in some of them.
That is really cool.
They're sturdy. They're still standing.
It won't crumble on top of you. You can visit it.
I mean, we'll see. Like, they're not going to last forever.
Not like full trust, but all right. It's not trustful.
I'm not going to go in there.
but anyone else
can go in there, and then you can tell me how it was. You can take some pictures, like do whatever you want. Each tower probably required between 3 and 10 years of work, and most likely hundreds of men per tower. And at the time, it was probably like peasants. They were reinforced by poles hammered into the ground, and large blocks of selenite stone were used to build the tower's base to make it really sturdy.
Dang.
So, and I was interested because I was like, okay, world's first skyscraper, what was that? And Even Wikipedia says the world's first skyscraper is the home insurance building in Chicago that opened in 1885 at 138 feet tall. But the Azanelli Tower was built 685 years prior to that, and it's 318 feet tall. So it's like twice the size.
Embarrassing, Chicago.
Embarrassing. You're an embarrassment.
Oh, God.
Actually, Wikipedia is the embarrassment. It's not the oldest. The oldest was in the 1200s.
Wow. And how? I'm like...
The Manhattan.
How?
Of the Middle Ages.
How was the Manhattan of the Middle Ages around? How did it exist? How did they have the tools?
Also, no one told me.
Yeah, also, how are we just finding this out? And I want to have that framed above my bed.
Yeah, you'd think like, it's decor. San Diego, beautiful in the summer, and it's like, no, these are the oldest buildings.
Try AD, bitch,
in fucking history.
Wow, that is actually really amazing. I just feel like time travel has to be real, or we're just like looping back around again, like on top of ourselves. I just feel like so many things exist, and then they go away for a long time, and then they pop back up again.
We do like to try the same things like over and over and over again, even though we know that it's going to fail on a personal level and on like a societal and cultural level.
1000%.
We kind of are known for that as humans.
You're right.
So
you're right.
I think it is cyclical because we're constantly like, well, we can do it and like not fail. It's like, no, they tried
history
it.
is like trying to tell us. They're trying to let us know.
Yeah, the more I learn about history, the more I see like, we've always had the same problems. We've always had the same worries. We've always had the same pressures. We've always had the same
and we just keep
it's just survival.
Making the same mistakes. But yeah, we're all just trying to survive and thrive in our best way.
Well, and Joe and I watched this documentary that's on Max, and it's called it's not Planet Earth, like Green Earth or something. It's all about plants.
Okay, fun.
Which I was like, that sounds fucking boring. It's not. It's crazy.
I was like, that sounds great.
Like in one episode, literally a war starts between a fungus and ants.
That is
a war.
Badass.
Like they're using war tactics on each other. Like the fungus
has some moves,
tricking the tree that was attached to the fungus that was getting nutrients to the fungus. The tree was growing like poison and like poisoning the ants that were like taking the leaves from the tree to kill off the ants in that area. Dang. And then the fungus was tricking the ants into like taking the fungus back into their homes. And then like poisoning all the ants with the fungus. It was insane. But as I was watching that, I was like, people do this.
Right.
Like we're all doing this. This is horrible.
Together. Like we can't just live in peace. We're all doing war together, even as a fungus and an ant.
The mushrooms and the ants are fighting outside every day. It's just endless.
Catch me outside, said the mushroom to the ant, and you just can't believe it. You can't believe that exists.
Do you have any like real quick shorties that we can
I feel like I have
blast? Okay.
I have so many shorties.
Let's do like one or two right back and forth, real quick ones.
All right. Did you know that Alfred Hitchcock did not have a belly button?
How did he get nutrients from his
Are you
mother?
regretting doing these episodes with me? That these are the facts I bring. No. So let me go back. That was my little trick. Like and subscribe for more. Okay, so he was born with a belly button. He was born with one, so that was the little trick. But he had so many gastrointestinal surgeries throughout his life and just all kinds of things around his stomach. And I mean, if you looked at the guy, like he looked like he wasn't living the healthiest of lifestyles. So he had to go through many different surgeries. He was in and out constantly at the doctor. And eventually they had to remove his belly button for like his 10th surgery or whatever it was, because he had so many. And it was just a big old pink scar that was left over the belly button. And it became a little rumor going through Hollywood that he didn't have one, and no one knew the background of the surgery. So everybody just like you was like, oh, he was just born without it. Of course, Alfred Hitchcock, like he already is weird, so this fits. But in reality, it was just because of the surgeries. And
I don't think that's is that possible?
To not have a belly
Probably
button?
Not. Yeah.
I mean, well, like there was probably still like a divot.
Possible. Anything's possible.
But many things had to be removed. So like that little like twist, I think, was taken out, and maybe like a slight divot, a little dimple where it used to be was there. But
little twist.
He did, like on the set of his very last film, The Family Plot, his colleague said that she like curiosity got the cat, and she was like, you have to show me, because they become close at this time. And so he lifted his shirt and showed her, and she corroborated the story. She said, yep, it was just a scar, no belly button. And then he died shortly after that, and that was all she wrote. You don't care about the belly button? I thought, you know, a horror director, I had to bring it in somewhere.
No, for sure. That's just something that's like never gonna leave. That's something that's gonna, like, if I had kids, I would forget their names before I forgot that Alfred Hitchcock didn't have a belly button.
I know.
It's always gonna be in there.
That's
for the rest
gonna live
of
in your
life.
brain for the rest of time. And
that's a core memory just created.
Well, you know, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you, but I'm gonna say you're welcome.
With the help of the theory of quantum tunneling, there is a 1 in 5.2 to the 61st chance that the molecules in your hand and the table would miss each other if you slammed your hand down, making your hand go through the table. A 1 in 5.2 to the 60th chance that you could slam your hand down and your hand would go through the table. Which, what if that accounts for all the glitch in the Matrix stories you hear about people like dropping something on the floor and hearing it hit the floor and never finding it again?
And then they never see it.
And they never see it again. They like move out of the place and they never found it because maybe it went through the floor. Because there's not a non-zero chance.
Right. Like that is a chance.
They would go through each other.
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously I don't want to hurt my hand and try it, but I am so curious. And that is insanity, Ashley. I can't think about that too much.
No, that's a rough one.
Nope. Nope. Can't do it. Our brain is eating itself slowly. But it doesn't have to be all bad. Obviously, for some people it is, and that is why there are memory issues and there is deterioration of the brain. But for all of us, our brain is constantly sweeping, swiffering.
Sweeping and swiffering.
Sweep and swiffering.
Wondering.
And vacuuming.
And
dusting.
Sweeping and hoping.
We are cleaning out. We are spring cleaning. We are getting into all the nooks and crannies. Our brain is constantly clearing out debris and things that it thinks we don't need anymore to make room for all of the new formations that our brain needs. And for a long time, we all believed that we hit a certain age and our brain was just done developing, like call it a day. That's it. It can only deteriorate, not regenerate. Goodbye to us all. But yes, there is deterioration, but then it's always like reforming these new muscles and new types of things. And I just think it's crazy that for some people, it can just get like eaten and then just taken away. And that's all they get. Or for us, like how we're saying our brains are mush and we can't remember things sometimes. I mean, especially me, I'm like next level right now. A commercial just came on a pop-up ad. So
you know what's so weird? So right before that happened, I felt this like sort of like shift or pop in my sinuses, and I got a ringing in my ear, and I thought to myself like, I think my nose is going to start bleeding. And then all of a sudden your screen glitched and
my
you
eyes
started and your eyes went like this, and I was like, am I dying?
Oh my God. You just experienced such a powerful feeling.
Whole thing happened to me. My life.
You just saw the end of your life. Oh my god!
I'm
that was
Scrooge.
it.
I'm Scrooge right now. I'm Ebenezer Scrooge right now. I'm gonna go out and like offer someone on the street a turkey. What happens?
A home-cooked turkey dinner. I don't know. I think it's something like that. You have to find someone on crutches.
Yeah. I'm gonna find someone on crutches.
That is.
I'm gonna invite them over for Christmas. I just saw my whole life flash before my eyes. We have to get out of here. Hold on. Where's my phone?
Wait, I just had to say what the term was called, so I didn't leave with nothing. That was the end of the news. But the deterioration of the brain and the clearing of debris and the eating alive is called phagocytosis. And for the most part, it can be a good thing, but our brains are changing and they are rearranging.
Well, I dare my brain to eat the part of my brain that learned that Alfred Hitchcock doesn't have a belly button.
You will never unlearn that. That, and as we said in our memory episode, songs that we will never forget. You will know lyrics to a useless song and that Alfred Hitchcock has a belly button.
Okay, Jesus, spin the wheel. Oh, shit, I have to
spin it from my heart.
What are we going to do? Let's spin the wheel to say goodbye. Let's spin the wheel to say goodbye. Let's spin the wheel to say goodbye. We are going to read a tarot card.
Ooh.
Okay, but we have to think of a question. 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 Here's your pause.
On the tarot deck.
Oh, we could ask what no, that's not the way to end this episode. I was gonna say we could ask what Trump's sentencing is gonna be. Not the vibe. Oh my god. Yeah, welcome to our party. Welcome to our party. Let's read tarot cards about Donald Trump. Jeez Louise. I need to get it together.
Well, wait, are you still wanting a career change potentially, or are you happy in your job? Like, how are you feeling?
I'm happy. Doing good. I'm just surviving right now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
which is fine.
I have almost no, like, I don't really have any. Why do we both have sunglasses within reach? What's happening?
This is just my desk, baby girl.
I don't know where you keep your sunglasses. Keep mine on my desk. No, I'm literally just like, hey, I feel like time is running out. Like, I feel like I have a very weird feeling that there's like not a lot of time left, or like something is going to happen soon. And I don't mean like I'm going to die or we're all going to die. I'm saying that like I feel like something's about to happen, and I'm not like waiting on it to happen, like scared or anticipating. I'm literally just sort of like coasting because I feel like something's about to happen. I don't know if that thing is, well, let me ask. I don't know if that thing is going to be a positive thing, like an opportunity presents itself, or if that thing is like a kind of like life-changing, not so positive thing, like a death in the family, or I lose my job, or I just feel like something is coming, and I'm just trying to tread water right now and just like keep being creative.
You're surviving. Like, let me just get by in case something does.
I don't know what's coming, but I don't feel like it's a time to like move. So, okay.
Shake things up. Okay, well, could we ask something regarding that in some way? I mean, that was a good...
Let's just see. Let's just like see. I might get bad news, but let's just ask, like, is this going to be a positive change, or is this going to be a
negative,
crummy change? I got the 7 of Pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like this. But see, this seems like what I'm doing right now is the problem.
Right. You're like, this is what I'm living through.
It's like a breather. It's sort of like, hey, you put all this work in and like things are starting to happen, but like you're taking a breather. So I feel like that's kind of what's happening right now. You have to kind of
You're sitting back. You're seeing what's happening.
Maybe this is just telling me like, hey, you're taking a breather. Don't worry about it. It'll happen regardless. Yeah. Whatever it is that's coming or not
You've put
coming.
the moves into place already, so just sit back.
Okay, well, listen.
I think that could be a good way to think about it. Yeah, to like, you're sitting back, let what's going to happen happen. You've put in the work. You have set up success for yourself, so sit back.
It could mean a large sum of money, but that's not always a good thing.
I was like, we would adore that for you.
We would love that. Well, that's the thing is like you get the 7 of Pentacles and be like, oh my God, a large sum of money. I'm going to win the lottery.
I know.
And then it's like both your parents die in a car accident. And it's like, oh.
And that's how you got the money.
Yeah. So not always a good thing. But I do feel like this is telling me like, hey, you're doing the right thing. Chill out, relax, tread water. Drink
Put
vodka,
your feet up.
Put your feet up.
Survive. Get some kettle in that glass, and we will see what's coming.
All right, that's all for this week, folks. Happy birthday, Lauren.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're alive.
Shout out to the Geminis.
Thank you, Jane and Jeff, for giving us this sweet, sweet child.
Sweet child of mine. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
And for you guys, thank you so much. We love you. Please follow us on social media at Keep It Weirdcast, and we'll see you sometime soon.
Keep it